Good morning van builders, hope you are all well and welcome to this plus 10 update from the 2 plus 10 playlist, building a camper van a slightly different way. And what we mean by that, as the regulars will know, we built out the inside of the van, all the cabinets, the lockers, the ensuite, the power systems, etc, 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 before actually buying the base van itself. Completely nuts, completely ridiculous, you might be saying. Certainly not how I've done it in the past and how most people do it in the past. If you want to know why, there's a link up there. Take you through why we're doing it, some of the considerations you have to put into place because we're going this route. However, regulars also we've now got the van and we've been bringing stuff back from the store that we pre-built bit by bit, which is just as well because that store was rammed by the time I've done the last bit of pre-build. I'm now fitting it out. There's a list of chapters down below that you can look at to see how we got to this stage. But what we're going to do today is to look at the lockers run and the switch panels in the van, and some of you will see they've been pre-built in the workshop months ago. And today is a bit of a red letter day for the naysayers. They scored a goal today because there was an issue that I had to deal with by going this route, and it wasn't a significant issue. I got through it. Part of the issue was as a result of me being a complete and utter twat, but this route of pre-building is less twat-proof than the conventional route of building out an empty van. So anyway, I got it solved and we'll look at that as we go through. So anyway, less of a waffle, let's hop into the van and have a look at those lockers. Okay, so let's have a look at the kitchen. Now, if you want to make God laugh, tell me your plans. My plan was to do this video and my high reach tripod's broken, so I've had to prop things up. Hope you can see it. I'll try not to get in the way of the camera. So going the wrong way around really, this is what I call the DC panel. It's mainly all the switch gear for all the different DC circuits. Yeah, the lights when I got on the lockers. When you open the locker up, it'll light up, down lighters, etc, 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 media player, all that sort of stuff. I've got in the battery shunt display, the diesel heater controller placed there for me to park my phone to charge up, which is that point there. Okay, and because I'm always messing around, as people know, I want to do changes. I've got easy access to this. I say easy access, so I get into do all sorts of changes in there. Okay, right, so let's put it back up again. Moving along, locker number 2. Now, regulars would have seen that being built in the workshop ages ago when I was showing how I had a cutout in the back to accommodate an adapter plate to fit whatever van I happen to buy. And when there's a link up there for that video. And when I've done the tour of the offside flank a few weeks ago, you may have seen me refer to that and how that worked quite well. There's a link up there if you've missed that video. Right, moving round, got to get out the camera here. Again, you would have seen that built in the workshop months ago now. It's what I call the AC panel. It's mostly all the 240 stuff, plus some utility stuff, gauges on how much water I've got, the waste tank, the kerosene tank, that sort of thing. Again, you saw it in the workshop, but I've got a little latch here. I can bring this out to get in to do work on it. There's an extractor fan in there as well, because that's going to be sitting over the kitchen hob, which is there, so any smelly food gets taken away. Right, if I get around so I'm not in the way. Locker number 1. I don't think you saw that being built in the workshop, but exactly the same concept. As before, there's a cutout in the back which fits into the box section that goes around the van, and I had the adapter to accommodate whatever van I ended up buying, which was the cathode body in the end. Now, this is where we can give a bit of a cuddle to the naysayers, because I cocked up here. Well, what about a cock up? It's basically a function of building ahead before we got the van, and I did have a problem. Part of that problem is me being a twat, but this methodology is less twat proof than the conventional way. But essentially, you've got 2 units that are built offline there and there. Okay, now just like with the lockers over the lockers, what I call 4 and 5 that you saw when I was doing the tour of the offside flank, there's a link up there. It had what I call a design gap. Okay, you build the lockers, but when you do the dimensions, you design a gap which gets filled in the van. I knew this would be a small gap, but it'll be things like chopping boards or kitchen utensils in, etc. However, a couple of things happened. First of all, this ensuite unit nudged out about 12 mil from intended, because of a flare in the box section on the D pillar, and I fixed that actually when I talked about that when I had the video of me building this out. In addition, complete twat, ordinarily of course you build a unit across there, you put a bulkhead between the two, you turn that into your switch panel, you turn that into your locker. I was building these offline, so each time I had a bulkhead at each end and one in the middle, so consequently I had more bulkheads, so it expanded out, and not only did I have no gap, but this wouldn't fit by about 5 mil, locker number 1, so I had to actually butcher it. I had to just remove a bit off the edge, rebuild this reveal here. But we got over it. But yeah, well done naysayers, you were right there. About the only thing of it in existence so far, but hey ho. Anyway, now on to locker number 6. Okay, and here I've got what I refer to as locker number 6. That nomenclature is just for me in my mind when I was planning things out. And I call this a Jack and Jill locker. And if you haven't heard of a Jack and Jill locker, it's probably because I just made that up. But it's based upon the concept of a Jack and Jill gate or a Jack and Jill door, and that you have in these new modern houses. Okay, so essentially, Jack, you've got a Jack little knick-knack thing. You can put all your bits and bobs, glasses, that sort of thing, accessible from the living area. And then you've got Jill, which is a big one. Now you can't see here the fence because this is accessible from the kitchen area. So if you're going on a big trip like extra food, that sort of thing, you go in there. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, Greg, you're so predictable. It's 2026 for goodness sake. You've got Jack in the living room with his feet up watching the telly in the living room, and you've got Jill in the kitchen. It's so predictable. But no, because I'm a modern sort of guy, and this is a modern sort of locker. Because these fences here are interchangeable. So you can have Jack in the kitchen and you can have Jill in the front room. And in fact, not only is it that modern, it's very modern, because with interchangeable fences you can have 2 Jacks in his family or 2 Jills in his family. So yeah, I might come from the New Forest, but I don't live in Burley. Anyway, I should say that about Burley. Lovely people down there, nice tight-knit community, quite a lot of them, very few surnames, but anyway, school's good, probably because the kids have got an extra finger for counting on. Okay, anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to do the like and subscribe nonsense, if you're not a regular and not done it already, that'd be fantastic. And the next video is going to be me bringing the kitchen units back and the power module back to fit out. Now it's going to be probably a couple of weeks before I get the next one out, but if you haven't done the like and subscribe nonsense already, it'd be fantastic if you did, and I'll catch you in the next one.